We are going to explain the reflex arc and the sliding filament theory and how they both work and relate to one another. We are going to start with the reflex arc, and for this as an example, we're going to say that three sisters agreed to watch a horror movie, and while watching the horror movie there was a jump scare, and the three of them jumped as an automatic response to the jump scare. A giant monster hand is what triggered the jump scare, and since our sensory neurons sense what we feel might hit us, the inner neurons communicate what the sensory neurons will sense to the motor neurons. They also connect to the spinal cord. In this picture, you see the arm, and there are the motor neurons, the interneurons, and the sensory neurons. Each of these neurons are very important. In order for the sliding filament theory to work, acetylcholine needs to be released. It is a neurotransmitter. This is a neuron. In a neuron, if the threshold for an action potential is not met, then the neurotransmitter ACH will be released. It is excitatory because it is a chemical that motor neurons release in order to activate muscles. It is causing something to happen. To be more specific, if the threshold is met in an action potential, sodium channels open and flow into the neuron. As the impulse passes, potassium channels and potassium positive flow out of the cell. Sodium and potassium are ion molecules with an electric charge due to the loss or gain of an electron. They are either positive or negative. Now we are going to get into the sliding filament theory. During the sliding filament theory, a muscle contracts when the thin filament, actin, in the muscle fiber slides over the thick filament, myosin. They are both myofilaments and protein filaments that make up a sarcomere. The action potential releases calcium, which binds to the troponin. This tropomyosin is moved, exposing the actin binding sites. Myosin can bind to the site and ATP and P is released. While the myosin pulls the actin in a power stroke, ATP binds to myosin for energy. And all of this is to maintain homeostasis. Internal communication is critical to maintain homeostasis. The sensory neurons that are all over our body are constantly sending information about our internal and external environment to our spinal cord. The spinal cord is the most important part in terms of communication. It is the main communication link between the brain and the rest of the body. Everything that is detected by our many neurons is sent to the spinal cord and then sent to the brain, and that is how reactions occur.